All right, you guys, so I want to show you the importance of being able to track sectors and how they affect Bitcoin. And so a lot of people talk about how the SPY works with Bitcoin, but no one knows what is moving the SPY, or they don't really talk about what sectors and how they're influencing the SPY. And so this is a major leading indicator for what's going to happen with Bitcoin. And so what you can see here is this is XLK, and that is your technology sector. So it's like an index that is tracking more or less the growth companies and what's happening with growth companies in tech. And what's important about that is the SPY doesn't necessarily track tech, but the SPY is influenced by tech in such a way that for the SPY to become bullish, then tech or growth companies' risk on assets need to become bullish. And so if you see a downturn in the XLK, then you're going to see a downturn in Bitcoin, and the XLK is a leading indicator of what the mood with the SPY is. People are putting on more risk when XLK is moving up and growth is moving up. And so you can see that this line here, this is your Bitcoin line, and then this line here, this is XLK. And so they don't often diverge. You can see a little bit of a divergence in the depth of the sell-off. So Bitcoin is, imagine it as a more heavily weighted risk on asset within the tech sector. And so the volatility is going to be higher, and so different than, let's say, Tesla, because Tesla is kind of like a beacon for XLK and for the SPY. So with Tesla earnings this week, they came out, they did pretty well, and Tesla ripped by 9%, which caused this move, which we had yesterday and the prior day, right? Running up into Tesla earnings, you saw this move, okay? And so this would have given you that leading indicator for what's happening in the SPY that is going to influence the SPY to move up or down, but also what sector is moving. And so when is it to your advantage to go heavier on a long or a short play? And so what you can see is that this week, what happened was we've been in kind of an uptrend since June, and then yesterday, and coming into today, yesterday we had the Tesla earnings, and what happened was Tesla actually sold a bunch of Bitcoin, right? So I called that right away. That was within 5 minutes. I heard it on the earnings call, and you could have shorted at that point. But interesting today. So why is Bitcoin down today? Okay. Why? One, you had the Tesla sell, but also today you had Snapchat, who had earnings yesterday, and they sold off 22%. Now, Snapchat's trading around 10 or 11 bucks, which is back to the 2019 levels. So what that did was caused the fear in the social media. And so Snapchat selling off brings down the XLK, and if we go to Snap, we could do that. But basically, what that did is that gave up all of the volume and all of the earnings that came in from Tesla in the XLK, and it drew the XLK down. That's why Bitcoin's down today. So understanding these sectors and the importance of them as leading indicators. A lot of people talk about the SPY moving in correlation with Bitcoin, but they don't have any understanding of what is moving the SPY. And even deeper still, they don't have any understanding of the sectors and the way the SPY is going to move. So if you went to, let's say, like XLP, okay, so that's healthcare. and XLP is pretty flat right now. It was up like 0.5% today. That would be a risk off. So if you saw a sudden rip in XLP, that would be a leading indicator that the SPY is taking a more risk off position. Let's see if we can find a good one here. XLE energy. So energy's been super weird, and you can see this is all the influence from the all this stuff with the Ukraine and so on. But if XLE starts to rip like back here, notice this, right? Watch this. So you see from here to here, okay? You notice how, look how XLE is moving up and it diverges from Bitcoin. You see me? See what I'm saying? So that's a leading indicator. If we see XLE moving up, we know that Bitcoin, the SPY is moving into a more risk off. And so while there might be upside potentially, because the whole SPY is going to move up by a few percent, but it's not going to have the big move that it does when the growth sector moves, right? So that's something I wanted to point out, because it's really important to understand why the SPY is moving, and no one out there is really talking about that or really even understands these indicators that will tell you ahead of time what's going on. So then if we go over here to, let's see, let's go down to this is the 10-year treasury, right? And so right here, what you can see is that, oops, what you can see is that as the 10-year treasury, as that yield goes down, what you're going to see is that there is the inverse, a pullback on this, on TNX, is good for XLK. So this is even another leading indicator, right? So if you wanted to know what was going to happen with growth, right, then you could go over to this, and we were here, this is sometime last week probably, right? And how would we know that growth was going to move? Well, our leading indicator on growth, if we're trading traditional markets, would be to look at the TNX, and the TNX will tell us, look, it's at a high here, or it's at this resistance. If it breaks out, that's going to be bad for growth, right? If it comes down, if it pulls back, that would be good for growth, and that's exactly what we saw happen this week. And so the TNX is a leading indicator for growth, and growth is a leading indicator for Bitcoin. So with these kinds of charts and stuff, you can know ahead of time what's going to be going on. So anyway, hope that helps, and keep on keeping on.